Here's Goodnight Olive making her move to take the lead by a head around the far turn. Race Kane has nearly 10 lengths to make up. So does Scooby Guando, verifying the leader. Top of the stretch, Tapit Trice is coming onto the outside. Up to the mark is running late behind Master of the Seas. Set piece down the center of the course. Master of the Seas alongside Annapolis. Here's Elusive Princess coming after Maj, and Mission of Joy tries to find room between that pair. Maj has the lead. Mission of Joy second. Elusive Princess third. The champ in front. Goodnight Olive chased all the way. Tapit Trice! Tapit Trice wins the Toyota Bluegrass.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome into the Keenland Look Ahead podcast. I'm Jeremy Plonk from Horse Player Now. We get set for day 12 of the fall meet at Keeneland. Saturday action, October 19th. We're previewing the 10-race card that features 2 stakes races. We've got stakes coming up in race number 7 with the Perryville and race number 9 with the Raven Run. So grade 2, grade 3 stakes for the 3-year-old sprinters. And I tell you what, both of these fields came up with some headline acts that may be even better than the grades indicate here. They are legitimately a couple grade 1 horses on the card in these grade 2 and grade 3 stakes. Very much looking forward to previewing the 10 races coming up in just a moment. Sunny skies, 71 degrees, the forecasted high for Saturday at Keeneland. Should be another fast and firm day. Maybe the winners aren't going the way you want them. They aren't for me right now. This week 3 had an okay first 2 weeks, but week 3 is not going the way I want. But we cannot complain about the weather and the conditions for racing, which have been absolutely outstanding. No Flavian Pratt on the Saturday card. He's riding in New York. John Velasquez also riding in New York on Saturday. Of course, we got Tyler Gaffalione back to the riding colony after a 2-day suspension today at Keeneland on Friday. He picked up 2 victories on the card, second best in the jockey colony, though, to Luis Saez, who rode 3 straight winners on the program for a riding triple today. But then there was the last 2 races on the card. We talked about how all these big-name riders seem to be winning all of the races at Keeneland. Did you have Evan Roman and Samuel Bermudez on your bingo card for sweeping the late daily double today? If you did, it was worth 566 to 1 odds, $566 double for $1. That helped cause a pick 6 carryover. Nobody hit the pick 6 today. 26,809 in the pick 6 carryover going into Saturday's card. Nobody hit the super high 5 in that last race with the upset winner. 7,841 into the carryover for the 10th and final race for that super high 5. A couple other news and notes about what went on the track today. David Jacobson picked up another win on the card today. He's now at 3 for 8 for the meet, really having a good meet with these horses from New York. A couple of them were horses who didn't finish their most recent races and came here on class drops, got right, got to the winner's circle. So Jacobson 3 for 8 at the meet. Christopher Davis 3 for 7 at the meet. But another win today by Rudy Brisset, who brings his record now, Rudolph Brisset's record at the meet, 15 starts, 6 wins, 2 seconds and a third. Couple starters on the card for Brisset. Jacobson's got a couple on the card on Saturday as well. Christopher Davis, he does not have any, but certainly with limited starters, Davis at 3 for 7 for the meet, a guy you want to keep an eye on here as we get into weeks 3 and 4. So today's 10-race card, 3 winners from Churchill Downs. That's not out of the ordinary. But listen to this then. 8 different tracks produced horses who won on the card today. Charlestown, Canterbury, Tampa, Horseshoe Indy, Parks, Saratoga, Keeneland's spring meet. We had a horse completely laid off from the spring, and then the 3 from Churchill Downs. I mean, I call this the melting pot, the 17-day all-star game that is Keeneland. We definitely have the melting pot going on this Friday card today. Tomorrow, hopefully, we're going to see the all-star game of sorts with those 2 big stakes races on Saturday. All right, so that gets us set up for all of the handicapping action. Looks like the audience has gathered in pretty well to this point, so let's go ahead and get started with the handicapping here on a 10-race program. Here's the way it lines up tomorrow for the dual stakes action. Races 1 through 5 will be the early pick 5. Early pick 4 will start in race number 2. Key plays of the day for me on races 3, 6, and 10. If you've been following at the meet, that means we're probably about 1.5 is the over-under on the number of those that'll scratch. We had another one scratch today. It's just been horrible luck on our key plays scratching. Turf pick 3 on races 3 8, and 10. So they're pretty spread out on the card. 3, 8, and 10 for the turf pick 3. That $26,000 carryover in the pick 6 will get underway in race number 5. Late pick 5 on a 10-race card. The final 5 begins in the 6th with that key play starting it out. Perryville Stakes co-feature in the 7th. The other co-feature, the Raven Run, in the 9th. Late pick 4, of course, races 7 through 10. And as we mentioned earlier, the Toyota Super High 5 carryover, $7,840. So good luck if you're playing into those pools. Well, let's get started handicapping here on the Saturday card. 2-year-old maiden special weight fillies going in race number 1, 6 furlong sprint in this particular spot. And I'm on the 6 in here, Wisconsin Gal. Wisconsin Gal, top choice for me. 5-2 morning line favorite. This one for Frankie Dettori riding for Paul McEntee. This is a major rider upgrade when you've been going through the 5-pound and 7-pound apprentice to go into Frankie Dettori, one of the world's top jockeys of the last 25 years. The major rider upgrade here for sure. But another reason I like Wisconsin Gal, we talked about this, the horse we like today that scratched one of the first-time starters, Army Mule, the sire, has, 6 wins and 11 starts with the horses here at Keenland on the main track. Just a ridiculous percentage. So I'm expecting Wisconsin Gal, who ran really well at Churchill, carried the form to Ellis, carried the form to Horseshoe Indianapolis. We'll just take the track here to Keeneland and really even move forward. So for me, Wisconsin Gal, pretty solid choice here in the opener. But 5-2 in the morning line, maybe even shorter the way favorites are being bet at the meet. 5-2 would be a nice price. Wouldn't have any problem taking that. 3, Little Breezy, my next choice in here. This is a horse who's making the career debut. She's the first-time starter for Jeremiah Englehart, New York-based trainer. Finger Lakes for the Englehart family for years, but now very prominent on the New York scene with the Naira tracks as well. This horse has been training at Saratoga. A little worried that there might have been a missed workout there at the end of September. Maybe the clockers just didn't catch it. September 21st work, then October 2nd. A little bit of a gap there, taking 11 days to get back on the workout tab between those two works. So just a tiny bit of concern with that, but Little Breezy's had 2 breezes since that off time. And should be pretty fit to go, you would think, here for 6 furlongs. 4-horse Lovely Words, also a first-time starter for trainer John Ortiz. Big workout from the gate, 47 and change here at Keeneland. John Ortiz, a guy who's had some success here at Keeneland in 3rd weeks of the meet in recent years. He kind of saved some horses for the back end of the meet. Would not be surprised if this first-time starter can run a little bit. So 6, 3, and 4 the way I've got it. Tom Leach also has that 4 on top that we just talked about, Lovely Girl. So we'll get the pick 4 started. I'd say 2 to 3 deep in there, or the pick 5, I should say. 2, 3 deep to get started here in the opening race. Let's go to the second race, which will start the mismentioned pick 4. Pick 4 begins in race number 2. 6 furlong, 20,000 claimer here. Open conditions. We haven't had a lot of these in the meet. We used to have a lot more of them, but so many of the dual condition claimers and non-winners of that sort of thing. Just an open 20,000 claimer here for fillies and mares. So 6 furlong sprint distance. We'll go to the picks here in the second. We'll kick off the pick 4 with number 9, Awesome Anne Marie. Awesome Anne Marie, David Jacobson trains. We said Jacobson's already got a couple wins at the meet with these kind of horses. He claimed this one 2 starts back. He's off to a good start at the meet so far. Jacobson 3 for 8, claiming races. I know 2 of them came in claiming sprints similar to this. I would expect Awesome Anne Marie with Irad Ortiz aboard to be primed and ready. Ortiz has been aboard a couple of these winners for Jacobson here at Keeneland. So the 9, 3-1 in the morning line will be my top choice in here. Number 2, Stand By You. One to keep an eye on. A horse who ran decently over the track for 16,000 back in April, but won here over the track previously, going back away. Stand By You with some local experience. That never hurts, and the current form is pretty solid as well. Gerardo Corrales rides. This one needs to show a little bit more speed from the inside. You know the one's going to come barreling out of there. Tell me when. But the 3 doesn't have much speed. The 4 is not a burner in here. So I'm thinking the 2, Stand By You, under a good gate rider, Corrales, might get a little bit better position in here than some of the most recent races. So for me, race number 2, I see it as 9, 2, and 4. A bit of buy, the 4, my third choice, picked on top by Gabby in here. You know, the 9's got 3 top choices in here, probably goes as the favorite, and I think a reasonable favorite. If you wanted a single in here with the David Jacobson trainee, I wouldn't have a big argument with that, but I've got a single I like coming up. So for me, I think you could go 2 to 3 deep in here in the pick 4, pick 5 if you want it in terms of putting your ticket together. But when we get to race number 3, it's going to be my first key play on the card. This will start the Keeneland Turf pick 3, race number 3. Turf sprinters here, 2-year-old maiden special weights, 5.5 on the grass, full field of 12. So, I like the 3, 4, and 5 in these power post positions. You got to find one in there who can run a little bit and you feel like you got something. It looks to me like number 5, Hit That Review, should graduate here. By the good sprint sire, No Nay Never. Brendan Walsh trains. He's off to a good start at the meet. Gaffleone rides again. He was back today with 2 winners. This horse has been just knocking on the door in New York and in the Ellis Park debut. 2 starts back at Kentucky Downs against Floodlights. Floodlights came back and ran 3rd in the Indian Summer Stakes. So the 5 comes out of some good races against better. Great post position in here. Top jock in Gaffleone. Really solid play to me. A strong lean to the 5 in here. Hit That Review. 3 of 5 handicappers have them on top. 3-1 in the morning line. So maybe we don't get the strong win price in here that we're looking for. But with a field of 12 and turf sprints, look, you can get a chance to get some exotics cracking in here to get any sort of prices in with them. The 8 Jack's Promise is the one I'm going to try to get in there. Jack's Promise for trainer Dale Romans. Big rally last time to be second behind Gate to Wire. Gate to Wire, all he did out of that race was come back and run second in the Futurity Stakes at Belmont at Aqueduct. So this horse has got a pretty good turf sprint running line there, running second to Gate to Wire, who came back in Stakes Company to run second. So give me the HX Promise underneath the 5. Hit That Review. 5, 8, and maybe some bingo. 5 and something in the middle with the 8 third might be the way to go after this one. Certainly respect the 10 Caribbean Win. First start back for this one since running second in a baby dash here in the spring meet. Wesley Ward does great with his 2-year-old turf maiden special weights. We don't see a whole lot of them in the fall, but there were a couple in the spring. He dominated those. The summer meet we had here in 2020, he did really good with those. In fact, there have been 16 2-year-old maiden special weight races on the turf. Wesley Ward's won 8 of them. But again, in the fall, not as prominent as he was in those spring ones that we had and in the summer. And the way Wesley develops his horses early, that's just the case here at Keeneland. Much more prominent with his 2-year-olds earlier in the year than later. But certainly Caribbean Win, you have to respect in here. We'll see if this son of our daughter of Speightstown will handle the turf. But for me, 5, 8, and 10, the way I'm going to try to attack in there. And I hope they go all in on Caribbean Win. It helps the price a little bit. Caribbean Win's 2-1 in the morning line. 3-1's the price on Hit That Review. If we can get right around that 3-1 price or 5-2, I'm in today. I really like Hit That Review. That's going to be a single for me. And again, we'll try to get the 8 underneath to get a little exotics pump up in the prices there for the third race. That's the first of 3 key plays on the card. We'll cross our fingers when scratches are announced about 11 o'clock on Saturday to see if we can keep these picks together. As we've struggled to do that so far this meet in dodging the scratches. 4th race on the program, we stay with the 2-year-olds. They're going long on the main track here. 2-year-old maiden or 2-year-old allowance race at a mile and a 16th. We don't get a lot of these in the fall, but we get 3, 4 of them during the course of a meet. 5 Global Legends, one to keep an eye on in this race. He's coming out of a race against a horse who came back and won the Aventura Stakes. So the 5 Global Legend, second place finisher in the Sapling, to a horse who came back and won the Aventura Stakes at Gulfstream next out, named Crazy Frazee. So a Global Legend one you definitely want to consider in this spot. But I thought the 3 Authentic Strike was the stronger of the options in here. Debut winner at Ellis Park on 7 furlongs in a really nice race there. Then tried the Iroquois Stakes, had no luck in that one against Jonathan's Way, Owen Almighty. Really good 1-2 finishers in that race. I think those are going to be horses that are contenders in the Breeders' Cup Juveniles. So Authentic Strike comes out of a good race. It's Rudy Brisset. Like we said, he got his 6th win of the meet from just 15 starters on today's card on Friday. Everything he's putting out there is ready to run. Good post draw for Authentic Strike in the 3-hole. Not a lot of speed from the 1. The 2's got a little gas, but the 3 should be able to get really good position into the clubhouse turn. And then you just got the short stretch run to the finish. Comes out of that 1-turn race at Churchill, 1 turn at Ellis. I like the stretch out here for the 2-year-old. So give me the 3 Authentic Strike, but a lot of respect in here for the 5 Globals Legend. The 7 Jack's Time is the 8-5 morning line favorite. That's the one I like the least amount of this trio in here. Dominant winner at Prairie Meadows first time out, but then last time was in that same race in the Iroquois. Showed a little bit of pace and backed up in that spot. I'm not really sure this one with the Into Mischief on the dam side of the pedigree, not this time on top. I kind of think this one's going to be better around 1 turn. So I'm not sold that Jack's Time is going to be a horse who's going to excel. And from the outside post position, going around 2 turns for the first time, remember that mile at Churchill was a long run into the first turn. So this horse is just going to kind of set sail and barrel out of there. There's some speed to the inside. I can see Jack's Time 3 or 4 wide into the clubhouse turn. And then he's got to, overcome the questionable pedigree, I think, to go the route distance. Not this time's a versatile sire, so don't get me wrong there. And so is Into Mischief. I would just like to see Into Mischief on the top of the pedigree and something with a little more stamina on the dam side to be completely sold on Jack's Time. So for me, it's too deep. It's the 3 and the 5 in here. I like Authentic Strike. Give me the Hot Barn and Brisset, but I really do respect that race that Cassie's horse, Global Legend, comes out of. Mark Cassie, that is. So 3 and 5 for me in race number 4. Other handicappers across the way. Authentic Strike picked on top by 3 of us. One picked on top for Jack's Time. Another one for 6. Look to the Cross. Look to the Cross. Could be a nice price in there for trainer Kenny McPeak. Top choice for Kim Nelson. I've got it 3-5-7 in the 4th race. Let's move on to race number 5. Next up on the card, the pick 6 will start here. 26,808 in the carryover. A couple big prices at the end of the day at Keenland helped get that one-day carryover. So we shall see how much money gets bet into it. Probably $100,000 or so, I would say, in the $1 pick 6, with 26,000 as the carryover, maybe pushing 200,000 in new money. There'll be some money bet into it for sure. I think we do have a carryover in New York as well for Saturday. It might be, or somewhere else has got a 2-day carryover, I think, going already for Saturday. So there'll be a little bit of competition for pick $6 amongst players around the country. $100,000 maiden claimer here. These are older horses, 3 and up. Going 6 furlongs on the main track. This is essentially a maiden allowance race, but some of the horses have been in for a claiming tag already. Maiden $100,000 level, treated almost like it's a maiden special. I ended up with the 5 in here, Shortstop, who's 4-1 in the morning line. Had a lot of trouble last time out at Churchill, but the summer races were pretty good. At Ellis, at Churchill, and debuted at Turfway the previous year. So the one race was this summer at Ellis, was a decent third in there behind a runaway winner in Wendelson. Ben Colebrook, good trainers, going to Tyler Gaffleone in here. They hit, they don't team up very often, but they do have a win from 4 paired up starts. So Gaffleone, leading rider, going to a trainer he doesn't always ride for. I think that's a good sign. I ended up taking Shortstop in here, the 5, as my top choice. The 10, Arrogancy, is a horse who's only run 11 times without a win. So when I say only, it's not like it's been a small amount of time. I mean, only in terms of the credentials. You haven't done that much to give this horse a big win chance, but there are 9 underneath finishes, including 7, count them, second place finishes. Jose D'Angelo's got a winner at the meet. His horses have run pretty well. He gets Jose Ortiz to ride. Good pairing there. They score 20% together, mostly down at Gulfstream during the winter meet there for Ortiz. D'Angelo based at Gulfstream year-round, and Monmouth during the summer. Arrogancy was at Monmouth, ran at Parks last time out and just missed. You like the 10 in here. I've got no argument with it, but don't take too short of a price on a horse who's 0 for 11 lifetime. 2-1 morning line favorite. That's why I tried to beat the horse. Shortstop, my pick, has only run 4 times, so just hasn't been living in those maiden ranks quite as long. This race is definitely one that you could spread your wings a bit. The 16 Idol, I think, at 15-1 morning line is an interesting horse at a price. Class dropper here by Curlin at a Team Pauline, and very good pedigree for this one. A real Steve Asmussen kind of pedigree on the top side there. This one goes for Jesus Esquivel. Asmussen did have this horse for the first 3 starts. Now comes off a July layoff. Shows up for new connections, but might fit well with this particular group. The ones who have run, like I said, have had some chances. The 2's run 12 times, the 3, 11 times. The 10, one of the favorites in here, has run 11 times. So I thought the 16 Idol might be one worth throwing in into the mix. So as for the handicappers in this race, Shortstop, top choice by 3 of us in here. Arrogancy, the morning line favorite, gets 1 top tab, and the 1 blue line colt by Nyquist. Nyquist having a good meet as a sire here at Keeneland. This one does run for Steve Asmussen. His former charge is the 6th. Asmussen will saddle the 1 blue line with his son Eric riding. That is the top pick in there for Gabby Gaudet. So not a ton of confidence in that particular race in race number 5. Certainly not one that I'm going to be jumping all over in terms of the multi-race wagers. You're going to have to spread a little bit. And in the pick 6, I think you'll want to spread a little bit to feel confident there in the 5th race. Reminder still to come. We've got 2 stakes races on the card, and a little bit later, we'll get Tom Leach's interview with trainer Brad Cox, who's got the favorite Emery for the Raven Run Stakes in race number 9. So we'll have a little bit of sound for you. So stick around for that coming up here in a few minutes. But we start the late pick 4 next in race number 6, or late pick 5, I should say, in race number 6. It's my second of 3 key plays on the card, and this one is 15-1 in the morning line. If you're going to get a price on a horse, a lot of times you're going to have to be a forgiving handicapper, right? A horse probably at a big price is coming off a really bad effort or hasn't lived up to expectations. Can you make excuses for why a horse ran bad? If you can, then those are the kind of long shots that you might be able to catch. Well, my long shot in here is 2 Eagles River in the upcoming 6th race. Last time out, tried to turf and ran 11th beat in the city block. This isn't a turf horse. That was the first turf attempt, and it'll probably be the last that Chris Hartman sends this horse on the turf. Draw a line completely through that race, and this horse looks like a different horse. The form on dirt is quite good, very consistent, a good sprint runner from Oaklawn over the course of the winter and through Churchill this summer. So at 15-1 in the morning line, I'm hoping that bad race last time kind of pushes people away, but that was on the turf. A very legitimate reason to make an excuse and to be a forgiving handicapper, and to me, that's how you get some prices. We're going to try to catch a bomb here at 15-1 in the morning line with 2 Eagles River. As we look across the other handicappers here at the selectors box at Keeneland.com, no one else has the 2 Eagles River anywhere in their top 3. So I'll take that. Fort Warren, the ex-Bob Baffert charge, claim last out, had been gone to Eddie Keneally. Brittany Russell claim now in a Tom Amos barn, is in the outside post. I don't know how this horse's running style actually plays out. Has shown some speed, has been left at the start. I don't know what to do with Fort Warren. I didn't use the horse. We'll see if that turns out to be a good move or a bad move. Other handicappers across the box do like Fort Warren, though. 2 top choices in here for Gabby and Kim. As for Scott, he's got 2 Eagles River as well. I'm sorry about that. I was saying that I was the only one who had 2 Eagles River anywhere. I missed right off the bat. Scott's got the 8 on top as well. So hopefully we've got a little tag team action there, and we've got the top choice in there. The 3 Principe Carlo, top pick in here for Tom Leach. Tom's good long shot picker. We'll see what Principe Carlo does for him coming in from Santa Anita. An interesting group because they're coming from all over. You got a Woodbine horse in here, Scoot Daddy. We already saw a Woodbine winner earlier this week come in for Kevin Attard in Rapoli's stable. We'll see if this one for Marty Drexler is effective here at Keeneland for the first time. Scoot Daddy, the 2. Just say this is a wide open race where horses are coming from everywhere in this particular spot. Wyco, the 4 horse, is a horse who ran here in the spring meet for Wesley Ward, ran 3rd in the Commonwealth Stakes. We haven't seen him since the April meet. We did have a winner on the card today. We've been laid off since the Keeneland spring meet. So that kind of layoff can be achieved, and we're only talking 6.5 furlongs here. So the 4 would be no surprise with good Keeneland form, a win over the track, and also a 3rd place finish in Stakes Company. 8-4, the top 2 in this particular spot. And I thought Deer District ran a pretty good race here back in April of 23 in the 1 local appearance, and kind of got back onto form a little bit last time. I thought that was a good effort at Churchill Downs, coming from a bit off the pace. I think that kind of style might work well here at 6.5, given this particular field and the way I think some horses are going to come back. So Deer District's one I think who can be finishing well and be part of the ticket at a fair price. So 2 Eagles River, I love this one in here. 15-1, one of my key plays of the day. Definitely want to get win money. We definitely want to look at some tries, maybe some supers. 10-horse field here, barring any scratches. I always like to play tries and supers with at least 10 in the field. So, if the field keeps together, you're looking try supers. Otherwise, looking at exactas. But certainly, 8-4 exacta box, maybe 8 with some 7 in there as well. Would definitely be a good approach, I think. Fort Warren, the 10, I'm going to take my chances, and we're going to see if we can get this one off the ticket. But I've got an 8-4-7, and the 1 Cape Trafalgar is another one in there to consider. So I'm not going to use the 10 even in my gimmicks underneath. That'll be part of an all ticket if we're, to get that runner in on anything. If we use a wheel in any of the spots, it'll be the only way then I'm going to go ahead and use the 10 horse in here. All right, let's go to the 7th race, the first of 2 stakes races. It's the Perryville Stakes. Also kicks off the late pick 4. This is a grade 3, 7 furlong sprint, and we've got ourselves quite a field in here. Let's look at the field for the Perryville. 12 have entered the main body. We've got 2 also eligibles. One of those also eligibles is almost sure to be in because word is locked. The 10, who originally I liked in here with a good chance to win this, is going to run an allowance race, they say, reporting the Daily Racing Form. going to run in New York on Saturday in an allowance race and skip and scratch out of this spot. So Lock, the winner of last year's Grade 1 Breeders' Futurity, expected to scratch out. There'll be the random draw to see the 13-14, Save the Trees, and Brunacini to see which one of those two may draw in. Neither one of those, to me, I think, are major factors if they get into the field. There's others that I prefer more in here. What a horse Knightsbridge looked to be after 2 career starts. This is a horse I was really looking forward to, maybe to the Triple Crown after the debut win at Churchill last fall by 10. Then was slow to get back to the races. Bill Mott got this one back around Florida Derby time at the end of March, won by 9 lengths in a Lowndes Company at Gulfstream, and then went on the sidelines again. This is a 3-year-old Nyquist colt who's got 2 wins by almost 20 lengths combined. Knightsbridge could be any kind, but this is a tough race to come back off of the long layoff. The favorite in here is probably going to be number 5, Bookham Dano. I could see Knightsbridge getting quite a bit of betting, but the 3 straight triple-digit buyers for Bookham Dano probably makes that horse the favorite. He's the winner of the Woody Stevens on the Belmont undercard. Third, just beaten a length by Domestic Product in the H. Allen Jerkins at Saratoga on Travers Day. He ran second, beaten ahead to Forever Young, the eventual Kentucky Derby third-place finisher, in a dynamite effort on the front end in the Saudi Derby. He's working strong for Derek Ryan at Monmouth Park. And you got to think Bookham Dano is going to be tough in this particular spot. I've got him on top here. I think he goes, and keeps running up this record as perhaps the best sprinter 3-year-old in America. Domestic Product could certainly make that argument after beating him on the square in the H. Allen Jerkins. Prince of Monaco might get that chance in the Breeders' Cup to make that statement. But Bookham Dano, from the beginning of the year till now, it's hard to say anyone's had a better year sprinting with his win in the Pasco in January, just missing in Saudi. He's less than a length and a half away from being unbeaten this year. He's really, really run well in almost any situation. Irad Ortiz is aboard. He rode him in the Woody Stevens on Belmont Day. He rode him in Saudi Arabia. Knows the horse, and I think Bookham Dano is going to be a favorite in here at 2-1 morning line that they're going to have to beat. But I do have a lot of respect for Knightsbridge. Another horse, if you're looking, because I think those are the 2 favorites, and it looks rather chalky from my estimation in the Perryville. A horse you want to watch in here is Epic Ride. I really was impressed by this horse at Turfway last winter. Loved him having a shot in the Bluegrass Stakes where he ran a really good third that day. My own and eighth was a little far for him. He always looked like a 7-furlong mile kind of horse to me. He gets that chance now. Epic Ride. Watch him off the layoff for trainer John Enos. I think this horse, the works look good on paper. I haven't seen him physically myself from the Thoroughbred Center, but 20-1 on the morning line. Do not be surprised if number 12, Epic Ride, can't get a piece of this big stakes race here. And if that's the case, then maybe we could look at some exactas, 5-12, 3-12, something like that. I think the 5 or the 3 win the race, but the 12 could certainly be part of it. A 5-all-12 trifecta. If Knightsbridge doesn't fire, 5-12-all. There's a chance to gamble on this race, even liking the favorite on top. Bookham Dano, top choice by 3 of us. Locked picked by the other 2 ladies, Gabby Gaudette and Kim Nelson. But again, expected to scratch, and they'll probably end up being 5-3 on their tickets as well, looking at their selections, if Lock does indeed scratch as reported by DRF. So that's the case for race number 7, the Perryville Stakes. We'll move on to the 8th, and then we'll be back with more stakes action for the 9th. 8th race on the card. Kicks off the turf, or the final pick 3 on the program, races 8, 9, and 10. It's the second leg of the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. This is the 3rd level allowance, mile and a 16th on the turf. Another big field in here to get through. Field of 12 entered in the main body of the field in here. We've got an also eligible as well. And some of the outside horses, I think, have a real chance in here, including the horse I've got on top, Taking Candy. It's not easy from the mile and a 16th to win from the 12 hole. Taking Candy's got good tactical speed, though, coming out of the Bernard Baruch. The firmer turf course that we have here at Keeneland this fall should play well to what this horse has run over in the past. Has showed good form over that kind of footing. Sherita Vo's horses are just all running so well. Jose Ortiz, who's had a riding triple earlier this week, he's having a good meet as well. So give me the 12, Taking Candy. There's not a ton of speed in this race. The 8, Mr. Muldoon, has a little bit of pace, but then when you're trying to find like who's the other speed, there's really not. So that's why I'm not as afraid to take a horse out of the 12 hole, because there's not a ton of speed in here. So I think at the worst, you're 2 to 3 wide into the clubhouse turn with Taking Candy. This horse should not be hung out in the parking lot. Taking Candy, the top pick by Scott, Tom, and myself. Miranda Wright's the 7, top choice for Gabby, and the 3, Irish Aces, who's my second choice, is the top pick for Kim Nelson. Miranda Wright's a long shot play in here for Gabby. Be interested to see the case she makes for that one on the Today at Keeneland show. Be sure to tune in at 11:30 a.m. Eastern each race day for Scott and Gabby's preview. They give you Tom Leach's long shot play, Clockers report, all that kind of stuff. Great show today at Keeneland. But I'm curious to see how she makes the case for Miranda Wright's in there as her top choice. It's Mark Cassey, that's the father-in-law, and Irad Ortiz riding. So maybe she's got some good info and insight on this particular runner. Miranda Wright's top pick in there for Gabby. I'm going to go with the 12, Talking Candy. 12, 3, 10 for me in race number 8. To the 9th we go. It's our second and co-featured race on the program amongst the stakes races. 7 furlong Lexus Raven Run, grade 2 stakes race here. Favorites have won this race for the last 10 years, and the last 4 winners have been 3-1 or less. I think those kind of streaks are going to continue, as the heavy chalk in this race figures to be Emery. We look at the field for the Raven Run, and Emery here in post position number 5 is 7-5 in the morning line for trainer Brad Cox. Coming off a second-place finish in the test stakes behind Ways and Means. Ways and Means expected to be the favorite or maybe second choice at worst in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. So we know this 3-year-old's coming out of a big-time race last time out. These are all 3-year-olds in the Raven Run, as were the fillies in the test stakes. But Emery, top choice in here for me and for a lot of handicappers to be sure. Earlier this week, Tom Leach caught up with the trainer, Brad Cox, who's looking for his 4th stakes win of the meet. He talked about Emery in the Raven Run.
Brad Cox has got Emery in the Grade 2 Lexus Raven Run. A little bit of a break after the nice run in the test. How's she doing?
She's doing great. That was definitely a planned break. Just kept her up at Saratoga, brought her back to Churchill, preparing her for this race. She had the run at Churchill, back quick to the victory ride. Felt like it was a little quick back to the test. She ran well in all 3 starts, so thought 3 races, short period of time, would give her a little bit of a breather, and we've been pointing for this since the test.
How has she improved from when she won here in the spring to now?
Well, she's been very consistent throughout her career. Solid workhorse, and always shows up. And I think she's definitely developed physically since the spring, and hopefully she takes a step forward on Saturday.
So thanks to Tom Leach and to Brad Cox for that. Emery coming off the layoff, a planned layoff from that August 3rd race in the test, set to go for the Raven Run. She's my top choice in here. And as we look across the way, she's everybody's top choice. I've got a 5, 3, 6, and there's a lot of commonality here between the 5 and the 3 and the 6 in various combinations. Also the 2 Mauchia. Get some play from the other handicappers, but 5, 3, 6. I don't think this is going to be a great betting race, intra race. I think you want to get in and out of this race. Exactus 5, 3 aren't going to pay that great. 5, 6 might not be a bad Exactus shot. The 6 Vivi's Dream is a filly who ran well here in the Alcibiades last year when running second to Candide. She took a layoff after the Fairgrounds Oaks, missed the Kentucky Oaks season. But came back in a 6 furlong race at Churchill that was just kind of a setup race for this one. Now she goes back to 7 furlongs. I could see the 6 Vivi's Dream running well here, but I can't see anybody beating Emery. So 5, 3, 5, 6, those are the classy ones. My main squeezes run in all the big 3-year-old races this year, from the 8 Bells to the Acorn to the Test. Charlestown Oaks. She's really never misfired. Won the Dogwood last time out, and maybe one of the best races of her career. So she's going to run well. I think Vivi's Dream's going to run well, but they're not going to run as well as Emery, I don't think. Looking for Tyler Gaffleone to win this race, the Raven Run, for the 3rd time since 2018. He won it 2 years ago. So Emery, Brad Cox, looking for a 4th stakes win of the meet, and I think he gets it there in race number 9. That's a single to me in the late pick 4 and the late pick 5. We wrap things up in race number 10 on the Saturday card. Our 3rd and final key play of the card. Toyota Super High 5 begins in this race, or not begins, it is exclusively to this race. The High 5, of course, challenges you to pick the top 5 finishers in the race in order. $7,840 in the carryover because nobody could claim it today. Turf Pick 3 also wraps up in this race. Now, I think there's a logical horse in this particular spot, and then I think there's 2 price horses that we can work around. that's why it's a key play for me in here, because we're not even just relying on one horse at a price that I think can be effective in here. Number 2, Judith, the first-time starter. Number 5, Grove City Sunset. 10-1 and 30-1, respectively, in the morning line. I think both of those horses have a chance in here for different reasons. We'll make the case. And then the 3 in here, Running Away for Wesley Ward, looks like a very logical favorite who's well drawn, coming off a second-place finish at Saratoga. There's no knock on the favorite. There's just other good horses options, I think, in the race that can be used in conjunction with the favorite or even upset the favorite in here. So that's why it becomes a key play for me in this particular spot. We've got a couple of them that we like. So let's take a look at the picks across the way. The Running Away, the 3, expected to be a really solid favorite in here. 9-5 in the morning line, picked on top by Scott, by Tom. High Breeze, the 8, picked on top by Gabby and Kim. High Breeze has some experience running at Laurel in the career debut for trainer Graham Motion. But the horses I like here, number 2, Judith. Love this pedigree. By Spitestown out of Informed Decision. What a beautiful mare she was. George Strawbridge and Augustin Stables ran her and have her as a brood mare, had her as a brood mare. An Informed Decision with Judith, first-time starter for trainer Jonathan Thomas. He can get one ready to go. I think this one at a turf mile, I like freshness in a turf mile like this. It's often a place where horses off long layoffs can be trained up to a race like this. I think this is not a bad spot at all for this 2-year-old filly. She's drawn beautifully well, and Irad Ortiz takes the mount. He doesn't ride very often at all for Jonathan Thomas. I think it's very interesting that he's paired up with this horse. Judith, the 2, a first-time starter. Regal pedigree, great draw, very interesting connections the way this one matches up. The 2, Judith, one to really consider in here. And then the 5, Oak City Sunset. This is one from a trip handicapping standpoint. When you see in the running lines in the past performances where a horse, let's just say, starts towards the back of the pack, makes a big middle move and improves the positions and the lengths, and then runs out of gas late, it's an ill-timed move. The horse moved too soon. If you can replicate that same move a little bit later in the race and come with the finish when it counts, those kind of horses often come back and run really well at big prices. That's exactly what we got with Grove City Sunset last time out when 13-1 at Kentucky Downs. Now 30-1 in the morning line. This horse ran its race in the middle of the race, this filly at Kentucky Downs. Kentucky Downs is quirky, that long marathon stretch, and they're going uphill at the end. I think with a better time move here, Adam Biscuits has been aboard this one a couple times. If you go back to the start 2 races ago at Ellis Park, the timed move was much better on a traditional oval with a length of the stretch of a normal amount like we see at Ellis Park. And that was a big closing move that day with no pace help, 48 to the half, 112-3. So if this filly gets some pace and gets back in a traditional oval where she can kind of time her move the right way, I think Miss Grove Sunset could be very interesting in here. And you have to expect the 3, the Wesley Ward, who almost wired the field in the debut at Saratoga, that runner is going to show pace in here. So maybe we'll finally get a fair tempo for the 5, Grove City Sunset, to show what she can do. Adam Biscuitza on a closer, save some ground, and see if we can't get a little something. The 5, Grove City Sunset underneath for me, very interesting. So I want to use the 2 and the 5, working in and respecting with the 3. I mean, this might be a place where you go with a traditional exacta box. I'm not one to box 3 horses typically, but the 2 could be in any spot. The 5 could be in any spot, and the 3 is realistic to stay, 1, 2, 3 in this race. But if we can back out and get the 3 all the way to 3rd in here, and they run 2-5 or 5-2, now we're looking at a boxcar kind of payoff. But you definitely want to get the combinations with the 3 in there. So a 2-3 exacta box and a 3-5 exacta box. And of course, you come back and say, well, geez, if you got those 2, you want to hit the big balloons if the 2 and the 5 both run in here. So I think this is actually a rare case where I'm going to say, use a 3-horse exacta box. Now, you can put some more combinations on a way that you like it more, or more with the favorite included. So if the favorite is in there, you'll get a little bit more back on your payback because you'll have it more than once. That sort of thought process. But 2, 3, and 5 for me, the way I'm seeing race number 10. And we'll try to get out of here with a nice one in the finale. As for the other handicappers, like we said, Running Away, top choice for Scott and Tom. And the ladies are going with the 8, High Breeze in here, the Grand Motion trainee, the 8-horse. So that's a look at the 10-race card for Saturday, pair of stakes races. We're happy you joined us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night on Saturday to preview the Sunday card. Sunday's race card includes the Dowager Stakes at 1.5 miles on the turf for the fillies and mares. So the turf marathoners for the ladies will be center stage on Sunday. That will be day 13. And then we'll have 4 racing days left as we have Wednesday through Saturday racing coming up for week 4, the final week. So If you can't join me tomorrow night, I'll be back Tuesday for the preview of that Wednesday card, but we're here each and every night, 8:30 Eastern on the Keeneland Look Ahead podcast. I'll have more for you tomorrow morning after Scratches and Changes. Be sure to sign up for my Substack, and I'll send you an email, free to do. Sign up at Substack, jeremyplonk.substack.com, and I'll send you my updates after Scratches, any changes that go into the picks, and any final thoughts going into the card. But sign up for that at Substack. You also get information for some handicapping around the country, as well as Breeders' Cup time into the winter and into the Triple Crown season. I keep the Substack going all year long, not just for the Keeneland daily information. So we're happy to have you on board there, and we'll send you a copy throughout the season. Have a great night. Hope your baseball teams are doing well in the playoff games. Hope your football teams do well this weekend. And we hope that your horses run fast and true to the wire at Keeneland to cash some tickets on the big Saturday card. We've got 2 stakes races. Can't wait for it. First post 1 o'clock. Join Scott and Gabby at 11:30 tomorrow for the Today at Keeneland preview. Have a great day, everybody.